Hi everyone, it's Katie. Welcome back to another installment of my, hopefully I'm going to try to upload these weekly, social commentary videos. Today's video is going to be on hustle culture, toxic productivity, and the American dream. So I do have a lot of notes as usual. This time they are written out on my phone. I may glance down from time to time because I don't have all this memorized. I always feel like I forgot to ask people to subscribe to my channel, so please, while I'm looking for my notes, take a second to click the subscribe button, give this a thumbs up, and also, after you finish all this, if you would like to leave a comment, that would be appreciated. So, hustle culture and the American dream. The belief in American exceptionalism. People give up sleep, family time, vacations, but in reality, giving up that stuff is most likely not going to get you rich. We look up to the 1 in a billion or 1 in a million type of people, imagining that we too will get rich someday. Even people who claim to be self-made generally had money or some sort of other privilege to start. For example, Jeff Bezos' parents famously gave him about $300,000 and let him start his initial business in their garage. First of all, I will never have $300,000 in savings, never mind 300 grand to just hand to a child, nor does everyone have the privilege of growing up with a garage. Now, if I had someone who gave me $300,000 in a garage, and granted, I didn't have a great business idea, but if I did, no, I probably would not be as successful as Jeff Bezos. But I would be better off than I am now. I would have invested, but that wouldn't make me self-made, though I could claim I was self-made. Same with someone like Donald Trump, who is gifted the modern day equivalent of about $1 million and a business. We aren't born equal, and when we're born into families with vastly different education and wealth levels, we do not start off on an equal playing field. So regular folks, I can't say that word, people, look up to these rich people as almost deities, as almost gods, and worship them. We buy their books about the art of the deal or how to become successful. The books say to wake up at 4 a.m., make your bed, start the morning off with a workout, read the newspaper. Guess what? Billions of the world's poor people wake up at 4 a.m. They take care of the small place that they call home. They work out by walking miles and miles to get water, but they are never going to become rich. And people write these books as if, oh, well, that's all you gotta do. But there's a huge luck element to it too. You know how sometimes people are in the wrong place at the wrong time? Sometimes people are also in the right place at the right time. I doubt Jeff Bezos was the first person to have the idea to sell books online, or even the first person to sell books online, but he did it at the right moment. I recommend a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell if you want to understand a little bit more on this phenomenon. How someone wasn't the first to do something, someone else copied their idea, and that idea took off because of the time and place that they did it. Anyway, those who worship this hustle culture and work and grind all day may end up doing okay for themselves, but many don't. You can work part-time hours in 3 low-wage jobs and still not get ahead. This is because there are a group of people in this country that are essentially the working poor. Because there's things that it seems they just come up every time at the most inconvenient times. Every time it feels like they're getting ahead. They have a car repair, a dental filling, a doctor visit, a medication, an appliance that breaks. And even Pixar illustrates this in the movie Up, right? And quitting your job to start your own business and, quote, follow your dreams, that's a privilege in itself. That implies that there is a safety net financially or someone who will be willing to catch you, like parents or a friend. Just knowing that you have the ability to stay somewhere with someone should your idea not pan out. So anyway, as I've talked about in a ton of my social commentary videos, people like to believe that they are better than another group of people. In this case, those who start businesses or are gifted money or homes or educations, or even those who have bought into the hashtag hustle culture mentality, believe that they're better than others. They believe that they're better than low-wage workers and mentally align themselves with these higher wage workers or these rich people, and believe that they'll be part of that upper class if they just hashtag pull up their bootstraps. Everyone believes that they're one lucky break from making it. It also, I will say, used to be easier to get ahead in Bill Gates' boomer generation, and Jeff Bezos is a cusp of a Gen X and a boomer. It was still much easier to get ahead in those generations. It's not because millennials and Gen Zs are lazier. It's because we inherited a worse economy. Costs of things are not what they used to be compared to wages. People used to be able to live on one income and have children with a parent at home, and now most families need two working parents. The truth is that most people end up in the same class as their parents. Additionally, Americans unfortunately believe that work is the most important thing in their lives. We derive human worth from market worth. We've valued money and business over people, over personal connections, over hobbies. All we do is go to work, come home, make dinner, maybe help kids with homework, help kids get ready for bed, go to bed, and do it again. We don't ever really feel relaxed. We feel guilty if we take time off of work. I don't need people commenting that they don't feel guilty. Americans as a whole do feel guilty for taking time off of work. So the American dream, as far as I'm concerned, is dead. The idea that if you work hard and do what you're told, you too can achieve greatness doesn't exist anymore. But along with that, the belief is that if you don't make it, whatever make it means, then it's your fault. But we're not born with an even playing field, and not everyone can be exceptional, right? But we've been trained to believe that your work ethic or lack thereof determines your trajectory in life. But it's a lot more nuanced than that. We're in a society that wants to believe that it is because of our own choices that we succeeded. But we don't believe that it's because of our own choices that we failed. But when we look at other people, we tend to blame them for their failings. So for example, if something doesn't work out for you, you're likely to say it didn't work out because of that external reason. You're not likely to blame yourself. But when you look at someone perhaps getting assistance or food stamps, you're likely to blame them for their own failing. In reality, a lot of what determines your outcome in life is your privilege or lack thereof. Privilege is a word that gets a visceral reaction from people and makes people automatically angry, but it is an important word to use. And to touch on privilege, a lot of people think being born with privilege is just being born with a lot of money. But because we've been taught to believe that money is worth more than anything. But there are other privileges besides skin color, the family you're born into, the country you're born into, access to healthy foods, or enough food, clean water, good schools, teachers, transportation, safe neighborhoods, whether you needed to work to support your family or not, access to jobs, doctors. Privileges are things that are generally not chosen. They're things that just happen by virtue of where you were born. The truth is that for many people, no matter how many hours you put in and no matter how hard you work, it probably won't matter. People who are financially poor aren't typically lazy. They're typically some of the hardest workers who work 3 low-wage jobs to provide, and they're a result of their family's circumstances. They're not a result of their own laziness. Beyond this, the rise of the internet, which is truly an information superhighway, almost everyone has internet. Some, like 70% of people in the world have access to proper sanitation, while 90% of people in the world have access to a cell phone. And most of those 90% also have access to internet on said cell phone. And social media, I feel, has highlighted how much better people in other countries have it sometimes, and that we've been kind of like lied to and tricked by our own government that into this false idea of American exceptionalism. The United States is not the king of the world. But again, Americans and people want to believe that they're better than other people, and it's hard to unlearn lies that you've been taught your whole life. And for those people, if we're not the best country in the world like we've been told we are, then what are we? Where does that leave our place in the world? A lot of Americans, I feel, are trying to reconcile with this existential crisis that we may not be the best. It's like being told your whole life that you are the smartest kid and then getting rejected from all the schools that you applied to because you're the smartest kid in your little area. Doesn't mean you're the smartest kid. So this leads people generally into one of two directions. One, they dig their heels in and continue believing that they are the most elite people in the world, and often start going down the QAnon pipeline. Or two, they open their mind to the fact that maybe they've been gaslit by their own government and start learning about the wrongs that have been perpetuated. So I know that this may elicit some responses, but that's okay. Leave them below. Let me know what you think.